first informal meeting in polling place. And I think everybody had fun that day. Maybe there will be another twist for your next informal meetings if you want to have a different way. Next. And we had a grand informal meeting hosted by our informal meeting chairman, PP Juice and Amy. We had a really great lunch at their residence, and also PP Juice would like to thank all the leaders of all the informal meeting groups. So he invited all the leaders together to have a lunch on Sunday, the previous Sunday, and also he arranged a classical guitar duo performance after the lunch. So we had pretty much a perfect ending of this year, the informal meeting. And next, last night we had a STAR meeting organized by Chairwoman Shu Ming. And this is our second STAR meeting. As you can see, last time we had a STAR meeting, which was all the girls members attended. And this time we had Jose Energy and Kathleen also joined us. And PP Shu Ming also invited some PP like PP Stills, PP Juice, and PP Oakley to share their opinion with us. And also PP Shu Ming also gave us lots of knowledge of Rotary Club. And nevertheless, she also arranged, coincidentally, she also arranged the guitar performance, the same guitarist, but the guitarist brought his partner, who is a violinist, and to sum up the night best. Yes, next. And this Tuesday, we also have our regular badminton practice. As you can see, this week is kind of lack of people, but thankful PP Lu's support. He came to support us with his whole family. And yeah, please come to join us if you have time. And that's all my report of this week. Thank you.
Secretary's time. Okay, next week is our recognition and appreciation ceremony. Please contact with Anne today if you need to change your registration, because we have to finalize with Taifeng 高尔夫球场 for the meal preparation. Okay, the dress code that day is post-race day attire. This is the sample for ladies. Post-race day attire. This is sample for gentlemen. Okay. And this is also husband and wife day. All members and spouses are welcome to attend.
So my thought, it was like we had quite a French-style charter anniversary. So on that day, on the last day, I'm thinking to have a more English style. So we can have a horse race day outfit, and girls, you can wear your like pretty gorgeous dresses. And for gentlemen, you don't really need to wear a tie if you feel too serious, but you can take this advice on the photo who didn't wear a tie, but casual way, in a casual way. Yeah, that's my idea. So please come to have fun with us. Thank you.
Okay, program. Speaker introduction. Yoko, would you please introduce the speaker for us?
Hello everyone. Today I'm honored to present Assistant Professor张凯鑫from Donghai University. He specializes in civil law, medical law, technology law, and international commercial arbitration. Before moving to Donghai University, he served as a judge in Kaohsiung District Court and Taichung District Court. He's my husband's one of his good friends. They went to school together and they shared a room. apparently during college, he was glued in front of the TV because he was forbid to watch TV at home. So my husband calls him nerd. So my husband says, don't forbid your children to do something because they will have a rebound afterwards. Anyways, so he's renowned for his expertise in the law associated with artificial intelligence, AI, which will be today's topic. So let's welcome张凯鑫.
Chair Lady, and my good friend Ron, Joe, and Kyoko, Honorable Secretary, and all the ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Oh, good afternoon. All right. I'm so nervous, my heart is beating so fast.
No worry, no worry.
I can feel. Oh, it's not an easy job to share this topic, but I have to say it's still an honor for me to have a chance like this and to share my point of view regarding this topic. And maybe you have some expectations about this topic, but I have to say that we cannot go through all the issues in a 30-minute term. So we just have a little sip of this topic today, and if we have another chance, we can go further another time. Right, and I'll give you this picture because people are getting more and more familiar with AI. You can access it every day. You can feel it every day. You can hear from the news about AI every day. And even the worst situation is that we are often controlled by AI without any consciousness. So indeed, this kind of technology has infiltrated into almost every aspect of our daily life. But when we do our research, we have to ask the first and most simple question, that is, what is AI? So I have to invite you to look at these two pictures and see which picture is most close to your impression about artificial technology, artificial intelligence. Is that the picture with a brain in it, or the picture with the robot in it? Can you raise your hand if you feel this one is most close to your impression? Please raise your hand. Oh, you have. Don't be shy. There's no right or wrong. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And how about this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And so I have to tell you, I think this one is my closest impression about artificial intelligence. Let's go back. People often choose this picture because they think artificial intelligence is about artificial human intelligence. Mostly it's right, but if we look into the technology itself, the intelligent task performed by AI includes the tasks of animals. And this picture confuses robots and AI. Exactly speaking, these are two different fields. So this one, I like it the most because it really represents the current status of this technology. It represents the relationship between data. That's the most important thing. Each dot in this picture represents a data. And artificial intelligence is about calculating the relationship or the distance between each data. So we use algorithms and coded them into programs and put it into computer, make computer to calculate the distance or the relationships between those data. And then they will give us the answer. And it looks like an intelligent performance like us. So this is the real, how do we say that? The real look of the technology. So in order to give you the feeling about how artificial intelligence would affect us, I will invite you to join some experiment. So just raise your hand when I ask you. Okay, the first one is the trolley problem. Okay, you can see in the picture, there's a train running on the railway, and it suddenly fell into an uncontrollable state. If the train continues to run like this, it will definitely kill 5 workers who were working on the line ahead. So the train will go this direction. And you are the person with the question mark standing by the switch. And if you switch the device, it will change the course of the train and the train will go this way. But this guy will definitely get killed. So I'll give you 3 seconds. Don't make up any additional presumption. You only have to choose if you will switch the direction of the train. 3, 2, 1. Okay. If you will switch the direction, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. How many people are we today? Okay, if you are not willing to do anything, do
not to do anything.
All right, and next. It's called the footbridge problem dilemma or the large man problem. Okay, the situation is like this. The train is uncontrollable and it keeps going and will definitely kill these 5 people here. And again, you are the person with a question mark. And this time, a very large person is standing by you. You don't know him. You just met this morning, and both of you are standing on the footbridge. Okay, this man is so big enough to stop the train if he fell over from the footbridge. You only have to push him. Yeah, okay. So, your choice. 3 seconds. Okay, you feel painful, right? Yeah, that's what I want to see. It's a thinking experiment, famous experiment of in the field of philosophy. But now 3 seconds. Will you push that guy down the bridge? Please raise your hand. No. And you don't want to push him. Please raise your hand. Okay, let me count. Please, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 0 to 8. I have to tell you that both questions are the same. It's a choice about sacrificing one person to save 5 people. But in different scenarios, you will make different choices. You don't want to push the guy down, but you will maneuver the switch. Why? The same question, different choices.
Because it's easier.
Because it's easier.
To push the button, or to push the people.
Okay, maybe that's the answer. But considering it, if today the decision is made automatically by AI, what is going to be? So to make you feel harder, let's try this one. It's a little bit long, but I will read it through. There is a very narrow bridge, 2-way, 1 lane on each side, over a deep valley. When you were on this bridge in your self-driving vehicle, only you, the big school bus, 40 people inside, in the opposite lane, suddenly crossed the center line and rushed into the front of your vehicle. The reason is not clear, but the driver of the big school bus seems to have lost consciousness. At this time, if your self-driving vehicle accelerates straight ahead, it will pass by the school bus in one breath and you will be saved. But the school bus will fall over the cliff and the 40 people inside will die. On the other hand, your self-driving vehicle does not accelerate, but goes straight. Your vehicle will collide with the school bus, and you will indeed die in the collision. However, due to the collision, the school bus will stop, and the 40 people inside will be rescued. Do you want your self-driving vehicle to accelerate or not? So you want your self-driving vehicle to accelerate? Please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4. Only 4. So you want your self-driving vehicle to collide with the school bus? Please raise your hand. 2 and I know. Others, you don't know how to choose. Yeah. All right. What does this mean? What does this mean? This problem is a little bit different from the last two because you have to decide whether to sacrifice yourself or not, right? But you are in a self-driving vehicle. This is not your choice. And if you were the passenger on the vehicle, would you like to know in advance that what will your car do in this kind of situation? I think you will have a drastic needs to know in advance. But on the other hand, if the manufacturer tells you that our self-driving vehicle is a vehicle with great love, it will sacrifice you if it seems right, or it seems for the best of our society. Yes, it will sacrifice you. Terrible, right? So the most terrible thing is that even if you just sit in your car, you will watch all the process happening. See him run into 5 person, or see him run into the other person, and you can do nothing about it. So see, I am not so optimistic with the engineers to say that one day all the vehicles will be automatic. I don't know. I really don't know. So at this point, you might have some grips on what I'm telling you. It's not about we should refuse AI or beware of AI. What I'm going to my research is to find a way that how do we make sure that we will be more prosperous through AI? We know it's dangerous. So the discussion about this question has with all over have many discussions, but the most popular topics are these 2 topics, which is the legal status of AI and the accountability for harm caused by AI. Okay. Okay, first is the legal status issue. Please see the slide. What type of legal status or other legal analytical frameworks is appropriate for application to AI, given the legal issues raised by development of such technology? All right, it's a little bit abstract. I think we should put it in this way. By asking that question, we are trying to find out what legal status should AI be granted, or how AI should be labeled in the court's eyes. So, should AI be a product, or an animal, or a person, or something new? And government entities and private commentators have concluded that it's time to sort this question out. So I have to say, this question is a little bit influenced by the convergence of AI and robotics technologies, especially when the system deployed has attributes that resemble those of human beings in terms of their autonomy, ability to perform intellectual tasks, and in the case some robots, their physical appearance. But if we choose to give AI a legal personhood, which is one possible option, and the next question is, should the law treat such system as legal person with all the rights and the responsibilities that the personhood entails? It's not easy to answer. And alternatively, many entities have asked, should some AI be treated as mere products and tools of their human developers and users? Clarifying this topic is important for the developers and users. Through this question, we will know where the boundary of responsibilities lie. So if the developers know the answer, and they will, yes, let's go. Let's develop a lot of AI. And the users will, yes, I know where to find the guy who should compensate my loss. Okay. So I gave you an example of a theory of intervening causation that the hammer manufacturer should not be responsible when a burglar uses his hammer to break the window of a house. Yeah. And if we recognizing AI as an independent legal person would, for example, limit or eliminate some human responsibilities for subsequent decisions made by such AI. But it will potentially reduce the incentives for designers, developers, and users of AI to ensure the safety of AI. Because we have some guy to bear all the consequences for us. We don't need to care about it. That attributes all the responsibilities to AI. Yeah. So it sounds very great, but it will have negative consequences because in the end, both this and this will lead to a situation that AI is not trusted and accepted by all of us because we don't know where to recover our losses. So it's not good at all. So these two are famous pictures on the internet. If we give an AI a legal personhood, then you are driving a legal person on the road. It sounds weird, right? And this legal person ran into another car, and who should bear the losses in the end? I say, hey, he's a person, so sue him, sue my car. Sue my car, not me. Sue my car. He's like a corporation, so sue him, okay? Yeah, that's what I mean. So if things goes this way and people won't trust AI, because it will cause a lot of trouble in our daily life. Okay. So the current conclusion is that the question is that AI are not yet deserve of any kind of personhood. And what framework can we consider? Okay, there are 4 points listed in the slide. The first one is government and the industry stakeholders should ensure effective human control over certain decisions. I will give a little explanation that government and industry stakeholders should identify the types of decisions and operations that should never be delegated to AI and adopt rules and standards that ensure effective human control over those decisions. Okay. The second one, government and courts should review the various potential legal models and assess whether they could serve as a proper basis for assigning and apportioning legal rights and responsibilities with respect to the deployment and use of AI. Modern legal systems already address a number of other situations that could serve as appropriate analogs for the legal status of AI and how to allocate legal responsibilities for harm caused by AI. In our civil code, we have Article 190, which is about the responsibility, the harm caused by your pet or your livestock. And we have Article 188, and that is about the responsibility of the harm caused by your employees. And we have some agents model in Article 107, 110, 169 and 170, and Article 28. So we have a current basis of analogs. So the government should scrutinize and examine the existing laws to find out the best model to analog to the harm caused by AI. Okay, the third one is manufacturers and operators should comply with the applicable laws of all jurisdictions in which that system would operate. It seems it's a heavy burden for manufacturers, but sadly, they cannot. It's inevitable because one day you will export your products with AI in it. And like European unions, they have their regulations. You have to comply the regulations of EU. So yes, they have to do that. And also, manufacturers and operators should be aware of the standards of performance and measurements promulgated by standards development organizations and agencies. What does this mean? Like ISO, or in Germany they have DIE. They have produced a lot of standards regarding AI. It's very ambitious in European Union, Europe. I think Europe is now having tons of drafts of regulations about how to regulate AI in the future. And I think somehow we have to obey those laws and the standards. Okay. So the first issue has been cleared that at this time it's still too early to confer a legal personhood to AI. And the second one is how can AI be designed to guarantee legal accountability for harms caused by these systems? All right. Why are we asking this question? One of the fundamental assumptions most laws and regulations rely on is that human beings are the ultimate decision maker. But as autonomous devices and AI become more sophisticated and common, the principle will increasingly be less true. So we have to face that phenomenon in our legal theory. The AI industry legal counsel should work with legal experts to identify the regulations and laws that will not function properly when the decision maker is a machine and not a person. So let's see. Am I going too fast? No. Move from. Okay, that's the last slide, I promise. What may be the correct approach to ensure legal accountability for harms caused by AI? Okay, the list is some choices. And you don't have to choose them all, but I'm here to provide as many choices as possible. So we can see if choose one of them, or choose two of them, or choose all of them. It's your choice. But I will go through the points one by one. The first is designers should consider adopting an identity tag. So what does this mean? If you think you have been harmed by AI, and you want to see who produced or manufactured this AI products or AI program, where do you find it? You cannot, because it's a program installed in your device. So, if the regulation has required the developers to put an identity tag into their programs, then we can see who coded this paragraph. And is this paragraph causing any trouble? If it is yes, let's go to find him and ask him for compensation. And the second, lawmakers and enforcers need to ensure that AI is not abused by businesses and entities employing the AI to avoid liability or payment of damages. That's important. In AI technology, we have a term called black box, which means it's hard to prove the causation of your damage and AI. For the status quo, we don't have the ability to explain why AI made that decision at that moment. We don't have that ability. So it's hard for you to establish the causation in front of the judge. Yeah, it's one way. Yeah. But we have to. But on the other hand, we have to avoid business to attribute all the costs and all the damages into some unknown status. Okay, I don't know why. We don't know why, so I don't have to compensate your loss. It's not allowed. Okay. So the third point is that government should consider adopting regulations requiring insurance or other guarantees of financial responsibilities. It's the other side of this point. We know that somehow you cannot collect your loss right now, but for a better future, we have to make insurance or some financial guarantees to make, like you take medicine. If you take medicine and you have some allergic reaction, and we have a foundation to compensate your loss. It's similar. So it will help people to go through this situation at this stage until all AI can be explained in the future. Okay, so, and to establish written policies. Okay, this one, it's like you have to ask the manufacturer to explain or to describe in detail how this AI works and who is the qualified user, and do you have to be trained before you use this AI, and the limitation of this AI, and what can you expect from this AI. With a detailed description from the manufacturer, people will know what should they expect from that, and to protect the manufacturer from being sued in the future. It will give a clear line of responsibility. And fifth, states should avoid adopting universal rules that assign legal responsibilities and the liabilities to the person who turns on the AI. It means that the governments, lawmakers, or the researchers have to study the process of deploying an AI, who turns it on, who has the responsibility to monitor it while it's working, and who has the responsibility to maintain it. And it's like just Joe said, the product liability, the concept product liability, because we choose to treat AI as a product, then we use this kind of region. on that. And we will ask our companies to consider the importance of continued algorithm maintenance. Okay, why we put emphasis on this point? AI is a special product, I should say. It's not like TV or like your car. Why am I saying that? We can expect our TV will not explode while I'm eating. But AI is not perfect. While it's been trained, it has become product. It has an inherent flaw, which means I have 3 or 4% inaccuracy. And that's AI. You have to accept it. And the algorithm will getting weak and weak after you deployed it. And you will hear from the engineers that, oh, we have to retrain our model. We have to redeploy it because it's not accurate anymore. So companies should do this and don't give this responsibility of maintenance to end users. That's not right. So these are the choices the government would consider to enhance the legal accountability for harms caused by AI. All right, and thank you for your patience. It's a little bit heavy, and advertisement for our research center. As our research center and our college will be helpful if you contact us whenever you need. I don't know what will. Yeah. We offer assistance from personal natural person, the legal problem of natural person, to legal problems of AI. And we will get appropriate resources, legal resources for you, such as Joe, and our other friends or our colleagues, and we will try our best to find you the right answer for your legal issues. Okay, so here's my contact information. Thank you for your listening again. Thank you.
And does anyone have question for? Do you take questions?
Responsible for that, but the driver's property.
Please do.
Make some compensation to the victim. That's possible. Drivers.
张教授好，抱歉，因为我读了法律术语，因为我也讲，我想说直接用这种问题这样比较慢，因为这看起来是一个蛮大的议题啊。我刚看牵扯到也有经济的问题，也有内政的问题，就是那个架构上，刚刚在讨论那个 AI 的那个人格化的问题嘛，因为他又不是自然人，也不是法人，那到底应该，万一那个比方我们开在自动驾驶的时候，车子去撞到人，到底是那个机器人的错还是我们的错？那谁要为这个人负责任哦？感觉上是一个蛮跨多部门的那个，但是像我们那个像国家有没有类似那种法制委员会去针对这个问题做一些探讨的？
Yes, we have many activities or societies on this topic. We have some foundations, all kinds of foundations about AI, and the government. I think they haven't had a centered authority to deal with this thing because the technology issues is not confined to AI. It's about all kinds of technology issues. So in the future, I think in the near future, we'll have a new minister that's called 数位发展部. I think it will integrate the current status of 国发会 and 科技部 and other governmental or semi-governmental authorities and have integrated resources to research all kinds of topics. And I think we are getting more and more familiar with this issue, and the government is putting more and more resources on this part. But in the same time, we haven't seen a movement or a policy that is so strong as the European Union. We haven't do this thing to that extent. So let's see. Maybe the most similar situation of our government and other countries is Japan. They've done it in many ministers in their government, and they all have their promotions to resolve all kinds of questions they have so I think our government will use this kind of model to resolve the policy issue, I think.
Okay, my question is about the black box. Okay, I want you to probably articulate a little bit more about the black box, because I'm curious. I'm a practicing architect, right? So if the building I design collapses, either me or the structural engineer or the construction company will be sued, no doubt, right? So they have to figure out which who has to be responsible. So in my mind, it's very simple. If my self-driving vehicle collapses into another car, right? Either the car company or the manufacturer or the designer will be sued. So what's the black box you just mentioned?
Okay, so it's unique in AI technology. So we don't have any comparable examples to analog to black box. But I have to say, in the current technology, they have coded a program containing an algorithm in it. And when I train the algorithm, I find the best solution of the formula. And I end up with a formula with certain parameters in it and code it into a program. Now, we call it a learned model or a trained model, and we use the fresh data to put it into this model to see what the answer will be. But at this stage, we cannot reverse it. We don't know the process of calculation. We don't know how AI will produce this answer. We don't know the causation of the calculation. So it means we cannot reproduce it in front of the court, and we cannot reproduce it again in the future. So it's called black box. We cannot understand why he predicted this answer this time. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I might have an analogy that kind of comes from, I'm of a different opinion about AI. I'm a little more conservative. I kind of think that most of our legal system already has a system in place to handle this, right? And now, correct me if I'm wrong, because you know this much more than I do, but the analogous example that I would take would be if you had a horse, right? So my dad used to say he likes to ride a motorcycle because he knows what the motorcycle is going to do. He doesn't like to ride a horse because a horse has its own mind, right? And so in the same way, we're making programs which we don't understand how they work, right? They produce results that are unpredictable, just like a horse, right? So my opinion is that we have a system. If I rode a horse into this room right now, maybe every day I ride the horse, it's fine, right? But then when I ride it today, it comes and it kicks you, right? So I think we have a system in place already where if my horse kicks you, I'm liable. You don't have to ask whether or not why the horse did what it did. It kicked you, right? And if I want to sue the horse's breeder because the breeder treated him wrong, that's my problem, right? But the black box is the horse. It's this horse's mind. And maybe for the future, this could be something where technology, we could turn off the AI, right? So if I buy a Tesla, maybe I want to turn off the AI, you know? But that's just my opinion. You know much better than I do.
And it's an interesting analog, but a little difference within it is that in AI, we don't know the horse kicks you.
In 2008, the collapse because of the rush. Remember the AIs that we had in 2008 that caused the stock market to crash?
Oh, yeah.
Right? It was started off by one individual that started doing some short selling and things like that. But then all of these AI algorithms came into the market, crashed the entire thing because they have a routine that they use and they just kept selling. Right? So
But,
I agree that we don't really know.
Yeah, but we cannot reproduce it if the situation is similar. Will it sell the stock or the assets again?
Yeah, but in my opinion, why do we make AI? For people to make money, right? And so if you give strict liability to people making money, then it's their responsibility to make sure that in the future it works.
Yeah, so it's another level of the issue is that since we do not know if there's a black box, who should bear the burden of proof? Yeah, so if the plaintiff will bear the burden of proof, or we should transfer it to the people who use or deploy the AI. Yeah, because if you ask the plaintiff to produce the evidence, it will be the black box obstacle will be on his shoulder. So it's not fair. I think it's totally unfair. So if you, like you say, you deploy the AI, you make money, and you don't want to prove it, you don't want to prove it's nothing to do with your AI, that's not acceptable. Yeah. So to put it into different layer, and we know there's a black box, and then we will have to deal with the issue that who should bear the burden to prove to establish the causation. Yeah. So.
Just want to respond to your questions again, and I think in any of the cases, just get yourself a good lawyer. That's what matters. With all due respect, I have to agree with Ron that, in my opinion, you are somewhat a nerd, and I think most of your students are probably geeks to really understand this whole thing. But so it's a little bit complicated and beyond my understanding. I just want to get your choices on the first few questions you asked us. What would you choose, or what would you recommend us to do?
Okay, go back to the experiment, right? There's no right or wrong for what you should do or you should not. Both choices are morally standable. They are morally right. Yeah, it's your choice.
What would you choose? What would you choose? The Spencer guilty.
I struggled like most of you. When you asked me to maneuver the switch, with a lot of pain in my heart, and I maneuvered the switch. And if you want me to push another guy, like Joe, so big, to stop the train, I cannot do it, like most of the people. And when I read about this experiment, I found it's interesting that even me, I made different answers to the same question. So I keep in wonder, if this choice is not on me, it's by a machine, can I accept the machine's decision when I choose to sacrifice someone, one person, but he ran into the other 5 persons, or I choose to run into the other 5 persons and he goes the other direction? Can I accept that? You are in the car. You will see the whole process. And you will say, no, not that way, but the car won't give you a shit. Yeah, just go. because he was programmed in advance. But who says that a designer, the programmer, could make up such a ethical decision in advance? So, the third question, will you sacrifice yourself for those 40 students, or will you not? And I think it's better to give you a clear understanding, to ask you in this way. How will you choose your way to die? Do you want to hold the steering wheel in your hand in the last seconds, or will you accept that the machine will decide for you at the last seconds? See? So, if your choice is, I'd rather hold the steering wheel at the last seconds, and then we will ask, if it is so, if most of you feel the same, a fully automated car will eventually be a part of our daily life or not. Maybe in the future we have a moral AI, that will tell you that is right. I've calculated it, and just follow my choice. Yeah, maybe that day will come, and then and if that day comes, if this is truth, and all the problems, all the experiments are garbage, I think. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Time's up.